Who is Lord Drakkon? In the comics, an alternate reality was introduced, one in which the Sword of Darkness is destroyed. Tommy is freed, but he teleports away instead of joining the Rangers. Confused and in hiding, he is approached by Rita again. She succeeds in convincing Tommy to rejoin her quest to conquer Earth, telling him about a loyal warrior named Drakkon in her past who helped her master her world and keep it safe. With renewed purpose, Tommy helps Rita dominate Earth and its people, one city and one country at a time. Zordon is able to assemble help from other Ranger teams and heroes, but the might of Rita's army pushes Zordon to use his final trump card, the creation of the White Ranger. As Zordon, Ninjor, and Alpha 5 work to imbue Jason with the White Ranger powers, Tommy leads an assault on the command center. In the battle, Tommy is able to breach the walls, defeat Jason, and seize the White Ranger powers for himself. Combining it with his own Green Ranger powers, Tommy transforms into the new Black Dragon Ranger. The rest of the Rangers are defeated or killed shortly thereafter, and upon the smoldering ruins of the command center, Tommy betrays and kills Rita. He names himself Lord Drakkon and molds Earth into a fascistic kingdom under his control. He soon eyes conquering all realities, but this video is enough to help answer the question: the opening story for the comics changed Power Rangers forever. The story picks up shortly after Tommy is freed from Rita's control and joins the Power Rangers. Team unity is still an issue, as they have just fought on opposite sides, and Tommy is still feeling the effects of Rita's mind control. Rita succeeds in charging the Green Chaos Crystal from the Discord, allowing her to summon the mechanical being called the Black Dragon. The arrival of the Black Dragon sees the destruction of the command center, and the Rangers losing their powers, except Tommy's, whose Dragon Coin accesses the morphing grid differently than the rest of the power coins. A confrontation with the Black Dragon on the moon ends with the Rangers obtaining a piece of the Black Dragon, which they then use to channel the morphing grid, allowing the four to morph. During a battle in the city, the return of Billy, who had been held captive by Rita, leads him and Tommy to infiltrate the Black Dragon and help destroy it from within. The resulting explosion seemingly kills Billy and Tommy, but it is revealed that the Black Dragon is a Zord built from pieces of the Grave Zord, and that it came from a different reality. The owner is Lord Drakkon, and now Billy and Tommy are in his dimension. How the rest of it will play out is a video for another time, but the first time that Drakkon faced off with the Power Rangers. Where we last left off, Billy and Tommy were transported to the Lord Drakkon's dimension. The duo escape what looks like the Black Ranger and end up in a Zord graveyard. A mysterious voice leads them to find Saba. Fleeing on the Falcon Zord, Saba guides Billy and Tommy into meeting with the Coinless, a resistance movement started by the Rangers once Drakkon defeated them. Drakkon had taken their power coins and used them to create his own army of Ranger sentries. Speaking with this version of Trini, Billy finds out that his variant died saving her, but was able to give her his power coin beforehand. This proved to be key in defeating Drakkon. Similar to how the Black Dragon was able to block the Rangers' powers in the main timeline, Billy modified the Triceratops Morpher into a power disruptor. Allowing Drakkon to find and capture them, the Coinless were able to get in close enough to use it on him, sealing his power away. The battle that follows sees the main timeline Rangers arriving, Drakkon losing against Tommy, and flinging himself off the cliff rather than conceding. The aftermath has the Rangers all return to the main dimension, and an injured Drakkon being transported along with them. He is last seen being apprehended by a secret armed force, but that's a story for another video. But now you know about—
Did you know that Jason was not the first Red Ranger? In the comics, we flash back to the moon landing. A young woman named Grace Sterling laments not being chosen for the mission. While on the moon, the Psycho Green Ranger wakes up. Zordon recruits her and 4 others into a mission to stop Psycho Green from releasing Rita from her dumpster prison. Morphing and arriving on the moon, Grace, as the Red Ranger, is overjoyed at finally realizing her dream. But that happiness quickly fades as Psycho Green attacks. He makes quick work of the Black Ranger and kills the Pink Ranger by shattering his helmet. The rest of the Rangers hit Psycho Green with the Power Blaster, but that only serves to unlock his second, larger form. The Blue Ranger sacrifices himself by taking up a cannon, leaping into Psycho Green's mouth, and blowing the pair up, completing the mission. Back on Earth, the remaining Rangers are furious with Zordon for sending them unprepared. Zordon is saddened but is not totally remorseful. He also denies further access to the Ranger powers since the threat no longer exists. Grace stops being a Ranger as quickly as she became one, but not without a souvenir. She would become an important player in what comes next, but for now, Grace Sterling is the answer to the question how Kimberly became the Ranger Slayer. In the comics, Drakkon is born the day Tommy defeated the Power Rangers. He seizes most of the power coins and uses them to power his own army of Ranger sentries. The surviving Rangers went underground and formed a resistance movement called the Coinless. Kimberly fought Drakkon tirelessly and suffered many losses. After her ex-boyfriend Matt is killed, Kimberly decides to storm Drakkon's keep alone. She makes it all the way to him, but Drakkon uses a similar spell that Rita cast on him to enslave Kimberly with a bowl of darkness. Her power coin is returned, but she morphs into a twisted version of the Pink Ranger. Her experience being a Ranger quickly makes her a formidable foe who kills many Resistance fighters, earning her the moniker of Ranger Slayer. When Drakkon is pulled into the main timeline, Finster 5 sends the Ranger Slayer with a piece of the Green Chaos Crystal to find him. However, a miscalculation ends with her showing up before Tommy becomes the Green Ranger. A confrontation in the command center leads to the main timeline Kimberly breaking the Bowl of Darkness, ending Drakkon's spell on the Ranger Slayer. How she would take action to help the Rangers defeat Drakkon later on is a story for another video, but in this one you learn.
Did you know that the Ranger Slayer has her own Zord? In an alternate dimension, Kimberly becomes Lord Drakkon's Dark Lieutenant after the Power Rangers' defeat. When Drakkon goes missing, the Ranger Slayer is sent with her own Zord to find him. Made up of pieces of the White Tiger Zord, Tor the Shuttle Zord, and the many Thunder Zords, the aptly named Grave Zord is a fearsome machine capable of great damage. The Grave Zord is used by the Ranger Slayer to distract the Power Rangers so that she could infiltrate the command center in order to locate Drakkon. Once there, she is confronted by the Pink Ranger, who is able to break her mind control. Later, when Rita sends 2 grown monsters to attack Angel Grove, the Ranger Slayer sends the Grave Zord to assist the outnumbered Megazord. To even the odds, the two combine and form the Mega Grave Zord. 2 new attacks are gained in this manner, one of which is the Inferno Blaster. Much later, after the events of Shattered Grid, the Ranger Slayer returns to her dimension, where the Grave Zord meets its end at the hands of a zombie Goldar. This may not be the last time we hear about this Kit Bash Zord, but at least now you can tell all your friends.
This video is where Drakkon starts to shatter the Morphin Grid. In the comics, it is revealed that Zordon had put together a Ranger team in 1969 to combat a threat that ended in much tragedy. As a result, Grace Sterling, the Red Ranger, was left with deep emotional scars and channeled them into establishing her own company, Promethea. When Drakkon was pulled into the main timeline, it was Promethea that found and caged him. But it isn't until later that Billy discovers this. Saba from Drakkon's timeline decides to take it upon itself to end the threat. Teleporting to Drakkon's cell, Saba attempts to kill him. However, Drakkon had anticipated this and is able to grab Saba, rip its head off, and use the Saber's ability to escape. Drakkon's first stop is finding Ninjor, whom he convinces to fix his broken coin and morpher. He then retrieves the green Chaos Crystal from the command center. Finally, he finds Tommy and stabs him in the back, recharging the crystal. Drakkon is then about to attack Kimberly, but is halted by the arrival of the Time Force Pink Ranger. He then retreats for his timeline, as Tommy lay dying. What Drakkon does next in his quest to conquer all realities are tales for future videos.
This video is the beginning of the Shattered Grid event. As a consequence of Drakkon's escape, Tommy is dead. The rest of the Rangers mourn their loss, but must quickly regroup to understand the severity of the situation. Jen Scotts, the Time Force Pink Ranger, explains that the actions of Drakkon have fractured the timeline. In response, the Morphin Grid seems to have siloed each Ranger team in history into their own pocket timelines. Meanwhile, Drakkon has made his first move, arriving in the world of the Samurai Rangers, with his Sentry Army in tow. Their morph-disrupting weapons prove to be too powerful for these Rangers, and all are apprehended except for Lauren Shiba, the Samurai Red Ranger. Jen and the Power Rangers are able to teleport to this world and rescue Lauren. Returning to his base with the captured Samuraizers, Drakkon and Finster 5 are able to combine the Samurai powers with the Black Dragons, using knowledge mined from a shackled Ninjor. As only one morpher is needed for this, Finster 5 suggests using the rest of them to empower the Sentry Army, growing the ranks and their power set. In future videos, we will uncover Drakkon's next steps, but the war has begun. As the Rangers try to piece together a plan, news arrives that Drakkon is invading every single fractured timeline. Using Jen Scott's transportal technology, Zordon is able to send a warning to all the Ranger teams. Almost instantly, they receive replies from Dr. K of the RPM Rangers in Corinth and from Zack in the Coinless dimension. Both offer solutions to aspects of the Drakkon problem. In response, Jason divides the Rangers into 3 teams and sends them to help and gather other Ranger teams across the Shattered Grid. Meanwhile, Drakkon has returned to his base with many prizes, morphers from the Zeo, Space, and Ninja Steel Rangers. He is perplexed by the Zeo Rangers' devotion to their Tommy, having spent time disguised amongst them, but quickly steels himself for the next upgrade to his powers. At the same time, it is revealed that the Coinless have ascertained that Ninjor is Drakkon's captive, and believe that freeing him would help them win. In Corinth, Jason and Lauren arrive and help the RPM Rangers push back the attacking Ranger sentries. Introductions are brief as the next wave arrives, this time with a powered-up Drakkon and his new evil Ranger allies. Shattered Grid escalates as 3 plot threads converge. Arriving on Terra Venture in the Lost Galaxy dimension, Kimberly and Jen Scotts find the sole survivor, Corone, the second Galaxy Pink Ranger. They add her to their collection of other surviving Rangers. Alpha then contacts them and informs them of the situation on Corinth, where Drakkon is attacking personally. Dr. K has figured out how to modify morphers to resist Drakkon's power-sapping weapons, which makes her the biggest threat to his plans. A major battle ends with the fall of the city of Corinth and all of the heroes teleporting away to fight another day. Meanwhile, back in the Coinless dimension, a rescue mission is underway. A double agent inside Drakkon's organization, Eugene Skulovich, helps the Rangers and the Coinless infiltrate the base, where they find the enslaved Ninjor. The team is able to extract the maker of power coins, but at the cost of the life of Zack from Drakkon's timeline. Afterwards, Ninjor reveals Drakkon's true plan. He isn't using the Morphing Grid to destroy Power Rangers. He is amassing Ranger powers so that he may get inside the Morphing Grid. It will get crazier as it plays out, but in this video, this is the moment when Power Rangers assemble. The revelation that Drakkon intends on accessing the heart of the Morphin grid itself sends chills down the spines of our heroes. They focus on what they can achieve, bringing down the tower that he has constructed on his moon that allows him to power his Ranger sentries across dimensions. To that end, they utilize both Dr. K and Grace Sterling to reinforce the Rangers against Drakkon's power-sapping weapons. However, even with that, Drakkon remains the most powerful piece on the board. Zord makes the decision to recruit Rita Repulsa to their cause, since Drakkon's original powers are still rooted in her magic. Meanwhile, Drakkon has learned of Skull's betrayal and kills him. He is able to make contact with a time-stranded Ranger Slayer and realizes that his control over her has been broken. As a concerned Finster 5 looks on, his body struggles with the strain of all of the Ranger powers he has amassed thus far, but he is resolute in adding more in order to achieve his goals. Back at the command center, a call has gone out across the shattered dimensions. The Rangers rush outside to see the arrival of all of the other Rangers that survived the invasion of their dimensions. Did Drakkon just win? The final major battle of Shattered Grid is upon us, and this is how it plays out. The combined Ranger army, full of friends old and new, prepare themselves for the assault. Jason gives them all a pep talk, reminding them that they are all Power Rangers, and gives Kimberly control of the Green Ranger powers. They arrive on the moon and see that Drakkon's forces have increased in number and strength. Drakkon himself has also grown in ability, equipped with a strengthened Saba that can directly steal Ranger powers. If that wasn't enough, Serpentera terrorizes the Rangers' Megazords, destroying many of them. But all of a sudden, Drakkon finds himself growing weak. Teleporting back to the Moon Palace throne room, he sees Rita and a burning green candle, sapping his powers. Finster 5 is able to zap Drakkon's enemies and tries to talk him out of infusing more morphers into his body. Drakkon is appreciative but resolute, so he does the unthinkable, snapping Finster's neck. He then finds his way to the power-infusing machine and pushes the button. Back on the moon's surface, the Rangers succeed in destroying the tower, but reality cracks, and a giant Drakkon dressed in black and gold steps through. As a white flash covers everything, the last thought of each and every surviving Ranger is, this is how Shattered Grid ends. With all of the Ranger powers infused into his body, Drakkon is able to enter the Morphin grid itself and manages to obtain the heart of a Morphin master. With it, Drakkon essentially becomes a god, unmakes the multiverse, and creates a single world where he is hero to all of Earth. Everyone else is recast into different roles: mother, father, waitress, reporter, teacher. The main threat that Drakkon defends Earth against are a series of energy beasts, but lately the attacks have grown in number. Drakkon also begins to hear a voice, taunting and pinpointing that he is angry because out of every single dimension, he is the only Tommy that became evil. As this voice continues to hound him, Drakkon begins to unravel. That voice belongs to the dead Tommy, whose consciousness was saved by the Ranger Slayer's actions way back before he became a Power Ranger. Tommy is finally able to materialize in Drakkon's world, finds each of the other Rangers, and unlocks their memories. With their help, Tommy is able to battle Drakkon for the heart. As Drakkon's dream world cracks and crumbles, Tommy offers him a lifeline, but he refuses. All of the Rangers then reset the timeline, unfracture the grid, and save the world, but at the cost of their memories of ever doing so.